Okay. I'm live. I'm not going to be smoking Lucky Strikes today. Going to conserve those puppies till Thursday. So, you do what you can. I got a few things to ramble about today. Number one, I'm a stupid, dumb asshole. You might remember the fact that today is Tuesday, and there is not a fucking horrible movie matinee Monday. Got all about it yesterday, folks. Minding my own fucking business. Came back from work. Hung out with a certain somebody. That kind of took precedence over this show. I'm sorry, folks. I love you. I really do. But she's kind of more important. It's been 7 years in the making. For those who know who I'm talking about, thumbs up for you. Or a like, as YouTube's policy is. It's weird. So, yeah. 7 years in the fucking making. I almost put tobacco in my Milanos. That would have been real bad. So, what am I rambling about today, you might ask? Well, a few good things, a few bad things, a few nitpicks because I'm a nerdy fuck. So, gonna have to deal with that, folks. But you should know this. It's oh Christ, is it 55? I think it's 55 now. It's either 55 or it is oh god, I think it might be 40s. XLV is 45. So yeah, 45 episodes. You guys should know that I'm kind of a nerdy, nitpicky bitch. So sorry if you can't deal with that. And what news from the world do you have for us today? How you doing, Sten? Oh boy, I'm gonna ramble about something I was rambling about to you on Skype yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And that'll be my first topic. And I'm just gonna fucking die. Give me a second. I forgot my lighter. I always keep it on the fucking holster, so, you know. Also, I have food cooking, so I might get up randomly and do that. So, apologies in advance. So, first thing on the agenda. So, I wanted a classic NES. I'm sorry. I know I probably propagated the hype of getting one, but I like the convenience of it. I didn't like the $80 price tag, but it had some good games. Probably the most iconic or good games of the system. I mean, there was a few shit ones. Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, Excite Bike. I think Excite Bike was on that. If it wasn't, I'm pissed. But still, those aren't really good games. They're iconic, don't get me wrong. They're iconic. Like, you can't talk about, like, whenever you talk about Excite Bike, somebody who played the NES will go, oh my god, I remember playing Excite. I do too, Sten, but it's not on this fervent, like, I like Excite Bike. It's a good 5-minute game. It's a good game that you can be like, you know what, I kind of want to make a track, maybe play against some AI and just jump around and do shit. Or I kind of want to blow 5 minutes, so you pop it into your Game Boy Advance because you have the classic one, like I do, the classic cart for the GBA. Play for 5 minutes, you're satisfied. You've played enough Excite Bike for today. But to put it as one of the top 20 NES titles, like on the levels of Final Fantasy 1, Super Mario Brothers 1 through 3, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Excite Bike, Balloon Fight, Ice Climb. Like, no, those are, I get them. I know you want them, Nintendo, but those 3 titles alone, and those are the only 3 titles I can remember. Castlevania. I think Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest is on the game, on the classic NES. That's a ballsy move, because I think Dracula's Curse, aka Castlevania 3, would have been a better pick. But I too am a fan of Simon's Quest. I don't even think they put Zelda 2 Adventures of Link on there. So they're kind of muddying this field as to what they want. Oh boy, give me a second. Give me a second. I do not want to ruin this. If she found out what I just did, I'm fucking dead. So shh. I'm dead. I'm gonna watch that now. Fuck. So, yeah. So, let's get on to the classic SNES. So I wanted to buy the NES one, but there's only a few games on there that I'd actually play. I respect the class. I respect the Nintendo Entertainment System. Don't get me wrong. Of all the games, the first 3 Mario games, Castlevania 1 through 3, Zelda 1 and 2, and Contra. Those are the only games I played. Those are the only games I really like. Metroid, yeah. I say Super Metroid's better than the original. Sorry, folks. But I wanted one. Kind of lost that interest when I saw the lineup. I'm not a real big fan of the original Final Fantasy 1 because of the hit mechanics and magic and meh. So I had discussions when this shit was going on about I already confirmed. I called it. I was like, they're gonna do a SNES. They've broken a wall, and they cannot seal this dam any longer. People are going to want a micro gaming console with the best titles of the console, and they're going to just want to sit there, plug it in, play it for convenience. There's a lot of people that don't do emulation. There's a lot of people who aren't going to drop $60 for an NES like I did and spend between $1 to $20 for carts, along with the controllers, and maybe buying new connectors and buying all the fucking connections. Like, I still have, because my SNES doesn't have the AC adapter, I still have my retro Virgil because I need it for my fucking SNES and NES. And that alone cost me $15, $20 when I got it years ago. So, like, people want convenience. So, Nintendo has broken this wall where people who just want that kind of convenience and show their kids, like, hey, look at the games we used to play when we were your age. That's nice. I like it. Now, Nintendo, you need to step up your fucking A game with the SNES because you have a lot of shit titles. A lot of shit titles. Super Mario World has to be on there. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island has to be on there. I don't like Yoshi's Island. I will give you that. I don't like it. I would not put it on the fucking goddamn list. Star Fox has to be on there. It's one of the most iconic SNES games. It's the first game, I believe, that came out with the VFX chip in it. F-Zero has to be on there. Super Metroid has to be on there. Super Castlevania 4 has to be on there. Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6. Okay, I'll give you that. I would have wanted Final Fantasy 4 because I like Final Fantasy 4. F-Zero, wow. I could have sworn the list I heard or read the other night said F-Zero on it. If F-Zero is not on that, then that's a damn goddamn shame. They put fucking Ice Climb, the goddamn other fucking, on the classic NES. They should put the fucking thing. Also, instead of 20 games, it's 21 games this time, folks. Okay. Super Mario Kart. Okay. Yeah, F-Zero's on there, Sten. It's right on it's right next to Super Mario World, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. That's the only Zelda game on the fucking SNES. Let's see. Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, I'll get into that one in a second. Donkey Kong Country. Yes. Mega Man X. Yes. Kirby's Dream Course. Secret of Mana. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like the Kirby Superstar, okay, because that's like an 8-in-1. All right, I'll give you that one. Kirby can have its fun time. Super Punch Out. Street Fighter 2. Yeah. Street Fighter 2 is better on the Genesis, I think. I think it was better on the Genesis. Earthbound. Yeah, I'll give you that one. But my contention, Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars. Now that one is a surprising pick. That's a big surprise for me for an RPG game. I know Secret of Mana is a good RPG, but like, I don't know if you're going for like 21 of like the best of the best. I would say Super Mario RPG, in my opinion now, beats out Secret of Mana. Secrets of Evermore would have been a better pick, in my opinion, over Secret of Mana. Final Fantasy 4 would have been a better pick. God, what other RPG fucking games? There was a lot of RPG games that came out in the SNES. And I'm drawing a fucking blank. Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim 2 is the game I played on the SNES. I still have the cart at my aunt's house. Like Super Punch Out does not need to be on there. Street Fighter 2 does not need to be on there. Contra 3 does not need to be on there. There are better shoot 'em ups for the fucking SNES than Contra 3. Besides, oh Christ. You know what? Hang on. I'm going to go on to Vizd because I have a lot of my favorite SNES games on there. And I've played nearly every single SNES game that I can remember my friends having. So give me a second. Oh my God. I have to log in. Fuck. All right. That's going to redirect me. So give me a second. I actually have to check to see if it works now with the new Firefox version I have, so I can actually, you know, do Google Hangouts on fucking Firefox instead of Google Chrome, because fuck Google Chrome. So let me see. Game profile, I think. Let me check game profile. Donkey Kong Country 2. Diddy Kong's Quest. I think that one should be on there alongside Donkey Kong Country. Instead of Super Mario World, Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. That would have been a better pick. Mega Man X3. Just skip 2. I don't like 2. Fucking Breath of Fire would have been better than Secret of Mana. If you want to go Super Double Dragon, because I don't believe Double Dragon was on the NES one. Or Soul Blazer, Secrets of Evermore. If you want a good fighting game, Chrono Trigger. Fucking Mega Man 7, Doom, The King of Dragons, fucking Super Star Wars, maybe one or all 3. Knights of the Round is a good beat 'em up. There's just a lot of fucking games they could have put on here. What else could? I know I wouldn't mind seeing the Eye of the Beholder game. Dungeons and Dragons. I know it's a shit game, but yeah, I would just enjoy it. But like, yeah. Illusion of Gaia. Like, there's a lot of games for the SNES that could replace a lot of the lineup they have. Now, let me go check my food, and I'll come back to I would say the 21st game, the big thing that people are freaking out about. So give me a second. Okay. All right. Sten's heard about this. Star Fox 2 is being officially released, I guess. I don't think it was released on the Virtual Console. I'm not sure. Now, the thing is, though, Sten, maybe they've finished it, and that's why they're releasing it on the classic SNES. Like, oh hey, we finished, Star Fox Zero beta. Well, that's the thing. What? Oh Christ. Oh no. Connect, asshole. Thank you. Am I still running? Like, am I still on here? Okay, I'm back. Awesome. Yeah, my internet kind of went wonky when I was starting to talk, so I was like, no, fuck this. I'm going to reset the internet. So that's my theory, Sten, is that they were like, what could we do? Like, the heads of fucking Nintendo were sitting there in the office going, the NES sold pretty well, the classic one. Got a lot of good games on it. What could we do to make the Super NES Classic sell like fucking hotcakes and double the profit that we made with the classic NES? And somebody in the back probably went, bring back Star Fox 2! And they were like, genius. We'll fucking finish it. We'll slap it on this little fucking thing. Here we go. I think that's what Nintendo was thinking. Like, there's no other reason why they'd be like, oh yeah, we're gonna slap an incomplete game on here. There we go. Get that fucking filter out. I really hate filtered cigarettes. That's why I always rip the fucking things out. So, yeah. I've never played the ROMs of Star Fox 2. From what everybody's told me, Star Fox Zero is essentially a remake of Star Fox 2. Mostly. Like the R-Wings transforming into a chicken walker and a helicopter and shit like that. That's well, the chicken walker fucking is reminiscent to Star Fox 2. I know that. I don't know about all the other things it can turn into. I'm not sure if they have the whole strategy thing where you have to choose between which systems to save, which ones to lose, and so on and so forth. But I'd get the SNES just for I'd get the SNES Classic for mainly half of the titles. Massive fan of Super Mario RPG. It's my first ever RPG I played. Link to the Past is by far my favorite of the original trilogy of Zelda console games. Super Mario World's okay. I don't see the hype over Super Mario World being better than the others. I just don't. Super Mario Kart, like, how are you going to do 4-player? That's my thing. How are you going to do 4-player? Like, no, wait, no, you can't play 4-player in Super Mario Kart. You can only do 2-player. Could have sworn you could do 4-player. Like, they had an attachment that you could plug into the fucking thing. Because I know, if I remember correctly, there's an attachment slot like that for the NES. Could have sworn there's something like that. Neither here nor there. But, like, like, if you want a multiplayer game, there's, again, multiple other versions, multiple other fucking games you could do. Multiple other games. Like I said, F-Zero is already on there. That's a better racing game and a better multiplayer game than fucking Super Mario Kart. You don't need it. There are certain games on this console that you don't need. You just don't need it. Knock it off. Knock it off, Nintendo. Yeah, the multi-tap or whatever. I don't know if I can't remember if Super Mario Kart supports 4 players though. That's the thing. If it does, then maybe because they have the whole. Actually, I gotta check this. I don't remember if they even said, hey, this is going to be able to, if they're going to smarten up and do wireless controllers. Come on, Firefox. Stop hiccuping. Thank you. No, they're still fucking wired. Classic Controller and Classic Controller Pro accessories. Man, you should really do the wireless ones, Nintendo. You should really do the wireless ones. They'd be so much better. They might be wireless because it doesn't look like they plug in to those front slots. Those front slots look like they're just beveled in. If they are, awesome. That'd be cool. If it's like the if I remember correctly, the NES one, you have to open up the slot, like the trap door or whatever, to plug them in. If that's the case, meh. If you have to plug them in the fucking back, that'd be stupid. But yeah, there's just a lot of games on here that I just don't think should be on here. Also, it's coming out fucking on September 29th of this year, so I might get it. If anything, I'll yeah, $80. I'll fucking buy it. Just plug it in and just play it. Okay, so only 2 players. That's lame. Now, my question is this. For the longest time I know, because I've watched Pat the NES Punk and his CU podcast for a while. Apparently, N64 and Vizd has had this problem in a lot of its N64 titles. N64 titles, for some reason, are a bitch to emulate. I wonder if they're going to do a classic N64. I don't think they will. I honestly don't see them doing that because give me one memento. So the problem with the N64 is, and this may be a big, like, blasphemous thing for me to say about the N64. There's not a lot of good titles on the N64. There, I said it. There are not that many N64 games that are like the best of the best. The Castlevania games, shit. Mario 64 is kind of bad. I played it. I played the fuck out of it. I got all the stars. Did not like it, though. Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64, Star Fox 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Fuck else if I know. Like, what else are you? What other classic, like, iconic titles? Kirby. Forgot what the name of the Kirby game. Bomberman 64. Like, what RPG games were there that were really big? Fucking Nintendo shot themselves in the foot with Square, or Square Enix at the time, because they just fucking jumped ship and moved over to PlayStation with Final Fantasy VII. Can't do Resident Evil 2. Mega Man Legends? I guess? I don't know. Christ, I'm trying to think of fucking games that I've played on the N64 that are actually, like, good. I guess 1 or 2 Mario parties. Super Mario Kart 64, aka the good Mario Kart game, and then they've just kind of fucking muddied them. Yoshi's Story. That's a silent fucking classic that a lot of people don't really talk about. They always talk about Yoshi's Island. Fuck, what else? I honestly don't know. I remember playing a game called Armorines on fucking the N64. That was shit. GoldenEye. GoldenEye might be a good thing. Shadows of the Empire. The Star Wars games for the PlayStation 1 were superior, even though a lot of them were just FMV cutscenes that you just moved the character around and shot. I think Dark Empire was the one with Kyle Katarn. That was like a Doom-esque one. Plus, they probably can't do like a movie franchise title thing. So like Star Wars would be out. Star Wars Pod Racer, I would want that. But it's a Star Wars thing, and they'd have to get permission from Disney. So, you know what? I'm going to look up N64 titles. Let's see. Top 20. We'll say that they go with the 20, the top 20 best. Super Mario 64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Star Fox 64, Mario Kart 64, Pokemon Stadium. Though you're going to kind of fuck up a lot of the shit with the fact that, you know, most people that would be able to play that don't have a lot of people probably don't have blue, red, and yellow. Super Smash Brothers. Again, Mario Party. Paper Mario. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. That's the one I'm thinking of. Then you have 2 Legend of Zelda games. Bomberman 64. Excite, but wow, I didn't even know they had an Excite Bike 64. Pilot Wing 64, meh. Jet Force Gemini. I've never heard of that fucking game before. F-Zero X, maybe. I don't know. Third-person shooter. Again, that's another. So let's see. Out of these top 20 that they apparently list, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Jet Force Gemini, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64. That's 6 Rare games. Rare was on a fucking roll, I guess. Yeah, like, just not a lot of games. It's just not a lot of games for the N64. That'd be classics that you'd be like, hey, yeah, like, let's put them on here. Because, like, you can't, yeah, like, what are they going to do after the SNES? Are they actually going to do an N64 one? And if they do, then what's after the classic N64? Are they going to do a classic GameCube? GameCube had a lot of fucking great games, like Twilight Princess, fucking Wind Waker. Well, Wind Waker, they probably wouldn't even do Wind Waker because Wind Waker HD is on the Wii U. And Twilight Princess is on the Wii, so. Like, there's just a lot of games that Metroid Prime, yeah. The first two. I think Metroid Prime 3 was on the Wii, so. Plus, like, now here's the thing. So the emulation might be a problem. The controllers, though. I've seen a classic NES controller, and it's mini. It's big enough to where it's not a problem. But how are you going to miniaturize the N64 controller? It has a Z trigger. It has it has a left and right bumper. It has the 4C directional buttons. It has a directional pad or a game pad. It has the A button, B button, the start button. Then you have a little shitty fucking snap and break your finger and cut it up fucking joystick. Like, are you going to come with a rumble pack already attached to it? Because that was one of the biggest fucking draws of Star Fox 64. Was Star Fox 64 came packed with a rumble pack. Donkey Kong Country 64 came with the expansion pack, so you can plug it into your fucking little fucking case. And we all know if somebody had one of the games that came with that expansion pack, they never took the fucking thing out. You would just keep that in there and you would just play every other fucking game with it because fuck it. It's just like the N64 is just a clusterfuck of a console. So there's that. Big problems with it. I was wholeheartedly playing that. I actually burned through 2 of them. One of them died from overheating because I played it nonstop. The second one broke, and it may have been because of the same fucking cause. And then I had my third one. And the third one just, by that time, I kind of just started falling out for that and saving up for a GameCube and a PlayStation 2. Plus, at that point, I had discovered Arc the Lad on the PlayStation at a GameStop. I started playing Resident Evil 1 through 3 a lot on the PlayStation. Just a lot of PlayStation 1 games started to come into the mix, and I started playing those. And then GameCube came out. I started playing a lot of the GameCube games. I got an Xbox for Christmas, and there was a lot of classics on there, like Fable, Battlefront, Halo 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Godfather. I remember playing that on the Xbox. Republic Commando. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to think of the other games I used to play on the Xbox. But, yeah, you get my point. A lot of good games on those 3 consoles. And they came out around the time I got my third N64, so I just kind of pushed that aside and just kind of forgot about it. Plus, Ocarina of Time and fucking Majora's Mask came on a 4-pack retrospective, which I still have in my closet, with Zelda 1, with the original Zelda and Zelda 2. So, and then I fell madly in love with Wind Waker, which is by far one of my favorites. I'd say top 3 Zelda games: Twilight Princess, are literally fighting every so often they swap. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? Fuck Twilight Princess. Wind Waker's the best in my fucking opinions. And then there's sometimes going, you know, Wind Waker's great and all, but I really love this about fucking Twilight Princess, so it's going back on top. But the thing that's always stayed at 3rd is Link to the Past. Ocarina of Time is 4th. It's good. It's good. It's not great. It's not perfect. It's not amazing. it's good. It was great for the time. Majora's Mask came out. That was okay. I just felt like, oh hey, they're just rehashing a lot of shit. They're just taking all the assets from this one and they're just rushing. I honestly think, in my humble opinion, that Majora's Mask was just a very rushed game. Because that just came out like that. Same thing with Zelda 2. I think Zelda 2 has, I would say Majora's Mask has Zelda 2 problems. Like, a lot of the games just kept getting rushed out on certain systems. Like, oh hey, Legend of Zelda's a hit. Let's make Zelda 2, and then they just rushed it out. They didn't think things through and go, well, maybe we shouldn't do this, maybe we shouldn't do that, and they just it's like the black sheep of the family. Same thing I think happened with that when Ocarina of Time sold so well, and they're like, we found our bread and butter. They were like, well, fuck. People aren't just going to buy an N64 for just Ocarina of Time. How can we keep those people who just bought it coming back? And they're like, well, let's just take the assets of Ocarina and move them over here. And we'll just change a few things here and there. We'll add a few new models. We'll change the story up. That's fine. And it's like, yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, I can see that. Like, more and more people are starting to warm up to Zelda 2, which is kind of surprising to me because I remember getting most of the classic NES Game Boy Advance games. Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, I still have it somewhere. Zelda 2, Metroid, Excitebike, Castlevania. What else did I have for it? I can't remember what else I had for the classic line, but basically everybody would mock me. Like, ew, you're playing Zelda 2? And I'm like, yeah, it's an okay game. Like, it's got a lot of fucking faults in it, trust me, but, like, I do like how they added an RPG element to a Zelda game. I mean, it's grind heavy. The weapons, like, the biggest problem with me is the items are useless. They only progress the story. Like, the hammer. You can't use the hammer out of combat. You can't use it in combat. You don't get swords. You have your sword at the beginning, which I would assume is the Master Sword, and you just increase your attack strength, and that's it. Same with your life meter. Same with your magic meter, and then there's only like 3-4 stats. Well, that's good. I kind of don't care that if you die and you lose all your lives, you get sent right back to the main start area. I feel like that's a reasonable punishment to a certain point. I would say halfway, once you get to Death Mountain, if you survive through Death Mountain relatively unscathed, then you should be able to handle the next 4 dungeons because they are a cakewalk compared to Death Mountain. So if you die in the final 4, I consider that a fairly good punishment. Being like, dude, you survived Death fucking Mountain. You should be able to fucking do these. Go back to the start. But like for the first 4 dungeons, like especially the first or second one, well, the first one's right there, so you shouldn't really. You're kind of getting used to the controls and the combat and stuff like that. So then, like, you're like, oh hey, I started at the beginning again. And then just going back north to that coastline and going back in the temple, fine. Second, third dungeons, okay. Fourth one might be where you're like, okay, this is kind of bullshit. Death Mountain, no, like you got to kind of realize like this is where shit hits the fan. I think the combat's the most interesting thing about it. The fact that you have to parry, block, and attack certain weak spots. You have to actually study your enemy. You need to know which way they move, where their attacks come from, so on and so forth. That's interesting. It adds tension. It makes you a better player because you realize that you're fighting. Like in an actual fight in the real world, you're not just going to keep flailing around and be like, "Oh, I hit him, he's dead." No, you're going to check everything. You're going to fucking, oh god, what's the term for it? You're going to analyze. You're going to size up your opponent. You're going to be like, okay, well, he's moving this way, so I'm going to move that way. He swung at me from the left. I'm going to dodge that. Like, you're fighting in a calculated manner. You're not just flailing around like in the original Zelda game where it's just like you keep jamming the fucking A or B button. And it's like, I killed a thing. In this one, you actually have to think about what you're doing because if you just run in and start fighting a knight and just flailing your fucking sword around, you're going to be dead. So, I like that. I kind of wish that more Zelda games took that concept and ran with it. One of the things I liked about Twilight Princess was that it added sword combat techniques. Didn't implement them properly. I feel like there should have been a lot more opponents and a lot like the best boss, I would say, when it came to the sword combat was the Dark Nuts. Especially that first fight. You're in the castle, you're in Hyrule fucking castle. It's just this big, open, almost like cathedral-esque room. Plenty of space. And there's a fucking Dark Nut just covered in head to toe with like 5-inch thick fucking plate mail. And he's got a badass fucking like great sword in one hand, and then he's a little fucking saber on the side of him. He's got a big ass shield. And that's it. The fight just immediately starts, and you are just fighting for your life, and it keeps swinging at you. I would say it was. I wouldn't say it was kind of Dark Souls-esque, but it felt like looking back at it now, and if I were to watch it, I'd be like, yeah, that feels Dark Souls-y. Like it's very gothic. Kind of like a very muted gothic fighting area. The Dark Knight itself is gothic in nature, with the way that its armor is fucking ornate, the color scheme, the look, the way that the plate armor is, and the weapons. And then you're this fucking guy in a green tunic with chainmail on, with a sword and shield, and you have to fucking keep rolling, trying to dodge every attack, trying to hit all its weak points, trying to fucking get an opening. And the fight comes in two forms. You have to use your techniques to stun it and then dismantle its armor piece by piece. And then once that's done, you're like, oh, hey, I beat it. No, it just shakes off its armor, and now it's incredibly fast and agile, and it's using its saber now. So you have to change up your tactics. That was a great fight. That actually accented the combat mechanics of Twilight Princess. But then, like, the rest of the other fights, it's just kind of like, oh, stab, stab, maybe do a fucking helm splitter attack. Or slash, slash, I'm going to do a fucking twirly attack. And they just fall like wheat. And you're a scythe. You just hack your way through opponents. There really isn't a threat. A lot of the mini bosses were where like the combat actually felt unique and special, like the joust on the bridge. That was a great fight. Oh God, what was another one? The horseback archery while you're trying to move, get Midna. I think it's Midna to Hyrule Castle in the busty bitches, the innkeeper's caravan. Like, it's fucking raining, it's dark, moblins are everywhere, they're firing fucking arrows, and then they have mounted fucking horsemen chasing after you, so you have to defend the fucking caravan, and then it can get caught on fire. Like, that's an awesome fucking cutscene, an interactive cutscene. The horseback fighting that you would do on the on Hyrule Plains in some areas was pretty good. The straight up fight with Ganon, where, and I really like, there's some gripes I have with the last fight with Ganon. Of the three phases in his combat, the final one is kind of like the second and third ones are kind of just meh. Because the second one's just, oh, follow him on horseback and defend Zelda while she hits him with the light arrows. And then it's like, oh boy, we're trapped in a ring again with Ganon. Like, we're just gonna fight him. Like, I don't know, that fight just doesn't feel memorable, and it should be. Like, all these other things that I've mentioned are vastly more memorable. Hell, the first three I wouldn't say the first three bosses. I'd say the fight with the Goron chieftain and then the weird fucking serpentine dragon thing in the water temple. Those two were pretty memorable. The fucking baboon, though, yeah. Fighting Doma in the Temple of Time was pretty badass. The Wolf Stalfos or whatever, I forget the name of the Stalfos, but it's the giant fucking skeletal dragon head. And you have to bounce back and forth with the spinner. That's a badass fight. Even though the spinner kind of becomes useless and it's just get from A to B by just bouncing here and there. What else? What other good boss fights are there? Well, the fight with Zant was kind of eh. It was okay. Yeah, that's why I liked it, though. Was there a fight with Phantom Ganon? I can't remember if there was a fight with Phantom Ganon or not. Or it might have just been with Zant. I can't remember, though. But yeah, like, I don't know. Just like Twilight Princess dropped the ball on a few things. Let's see. I would say Wind Waker. See, the tough thing about Wind Waker is close to perfect. I don't care what people think about the whole, oh, it's sailing. Nothing but it's sailing, the game. It takes forever to sail. It's like, what about, like, you do know it has probably the largest Zelda map or world map, right? Nobody complains, oh, it's just a bunch of walking in the original Legend of Zelda, or Zelda 2, or Link to the Past, or fucking Ocarina of Time, where the only really good spot that you could ride Epona was Hyrule Plains or Hyrule Fields, and that wasn't really that fucking big. Majora's Mask is just kind of meh in its size, and you essentially had to just keep walking around the same places in a fucking time loop. And then Wind Waker shows up, and it's massive. It's a massive high seas adventure. It's a high seas adventure. That's the point. It's a high seas adventure. That'd be like going to a pirate movie and being like, oh, it's just, they're always on the boat, you know, They're sailing from one port to another. Like, meh. It's like, you are actively sailing from island to island. There are major areas where you will be stuck there for a few hours. The first 3 islands where you have to get the 3 gems. Going to from just Onset Island, aka Tutorial Island, fucking the Forsaken Fortress. You go there 2-3 times. Like that takes a lot of fucking time. The Tower of the Gods. That takes a long fucking time. That also has one of the best boss fights I've ever had in a Zelda game. And the rest of it's just you can if you want to do it, you can do it. You can map out every section of the fucking map if you want. You don't have to do all the side quests. If you don't like the sailing, then just sail from point A to point B. Deal with it. You want your magic bar to be twice as long? You're gonna have to go sailing. You want fucking your arrows and bombs to be fucking maxed out? You're gonna have to go sailing. You want the tingle map so you can get all the treasures in the game? You're gonna have to go sailing. You're gonna have to go sailing to get all 8 of the Triforce pieces. You want your own boat? I didn't mind it. I loved it. I would go sailing constantly. I went everywhere with the Picto box, taking photos so I could do the little figurines. And I would play it over and over again, so I got all of the fucking game, all the game's fucking creatures and shit. I loved it. It has the most unique version of a Ganon fight. Yeah, you're still stuck in a ring with Ganon. They've been stuck on that shit since fucking Link to the Past. Where, oh hey, we fall into a hole. Fuck. Ganon's here. We can't run away and there's not enough room. We're kind of enclosed. That made sense though, because Ganon kind of knocks the floor down. And then Ocarina of Time has it with a flame circle. And it's like, no, now you're enclosed away from your Master Sword. And then, fuck. Wind Waker does it again. Twilight Princess does it later. But with fucking Wind Waker, though, it's a badass fucking, like, oh, we're on the top of a fucking tower. And, like, you got the whole subplot of the King of Red Lions is just, he's come back in human form and he's touched the fucking, he's touched the Triforce. The first time, and I think the only, one of the only times we've actually seen the Triforce in person. In person. Zelda 1. Yeah, the first Zelda. Zelda 2. Link to the Past. We never see it in person in Majora or Ocarina. Then Wind Waker. Wind Waker is where we actually see it again. And then you got the King of Red Lions touching it, and he wishes that fucking to drown Hyrule, and so you have all the fucking sea just dropping around you. And now it's just this frantic fight while you and Zelda are fucking double teaming fucking Ganon. She's stunning him with fucking light arrows, and you're just hacking him away with the sword. And it ends with you embedding the fucking Master Sword in the skull. For as cartoony as that game was, I was like, wow, that's fucking brutal. Okay, so Breath of the Wild kind of does that, where they're like, we're going to put you in a ring, but it's big. See, like, that's the thing. I'm tired of the trope in Zelda games where you're stuck in a fucking arena. Like a little fucking dinky ring. You don't, like, you can, like, in all the games where this happens, you can practically just walk from one end to the other in, like, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's how small and enclosed just the ring is. And so you're just bouncing around, dodging, and trying to fight, and that's it. It's like, just have it open. Let me go back and get in range. Let me give me a game where Ganon actually where Ganon can be slowed by arrows. The arena in Breath of the Wild, if you walk from one side to the other, is like a minute or so to walk. All right, then. I like that. A game where Ganon isn't immune to arrows, so I can be like, oh, I'm going to just keep fucking emptying my fucking quiver of arrows into him and trying to slow him down. Ganon can be slowed with arrows if you hit his weak. Okay, see, thank you, Breath of the Wild. Thank you, Nintendo, for hearing hearing me in the future and then going back to the past and putting that in Breath of the Wild. Thank you. I feel like that should have been a thing fucking a decade ago. Let me use any weapon I want, or let me have it so that I have to use all the weapons I have. It's Ganon. He has the Triforce of Power. He should be the strongest boss an opponent Link should face. Link should have to be forced to use every resource he has had on this quest at his disposal and used. The Megaton Hammer. We'll go with the Ocarina fight. Because I'm sure there's somebody probably out there who may have watched this and go, oh wow, the fights in Ocarina are pretty good, especially that boss fight with Ganon. No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. Because you have to use the Master Sword. You gotta use that Master Sword. So let's break down that fight. You get Zelda out of the tower. The whole place crumbles down, and you guys have this fucking breath of fresh air, and you have a little time to relax, and then bam, Ganon's all pissed off, and he's going Super Saiyan. Then he transforms into Ganon, and Link just tries to fucking deflect him or swing his sword at him, and bink, the sword gets knocked out of his fucking hand. And he gets embedded into the fucking ground, and a ring of fire just wraps around him and blocks him from getting the sword. Why can't Zelda just pull the sword out with magic and throw it back to Link? Why? Why can't she do that? She just showed us that she can telepathically lift locked gates in a crumbling fucking tower. She's able to lift those gates. Gates you could not open with magic or telepathy. Why can't she do that with a sword? She's not evil. It's evil's bane. Why can't she just be like, oh, Link, here, take evil's bane. You know, the one weapon which will harm Ganon. Doesn't do that. So, now that I've pointed out that fucking plot hole in that fight, what weapons can you use? Well, you can use the Megaton Hammer, and you can just dodge, bob, and weave, and then hit him in his fucking tail, and you fire light arrows at him. Or you can use the Bigoron sword, or Bigoron sword, or Big Doron sword, which is the weapon I always fucking use in the goddamn fights because it's the most badass weapon in Ocarina of Time. And that does the same thing. Hook shot? Yeah. Not really. You can't use Deku nuts. Can't use Deku sticks. Can't use bomb shoes. Bombs are fucking useless. Normal arrows aren't going to be doing a goddamn thing for Ganon. You got to use the Master Sword. You got to use the fucking Master Sword. Because as soon as you do any damage to him in Ocarina of Time with the Megaton Hammer or the Big Goron Sword, the flame wall goes down, you run back, you grab the Master Sword, and that's it. Now you have to fight him with the Master Sword. You can use the other weapons, but at the end it shows you just using the Master Sword and stabbing him in the mouth. Like, it's stupid. A lot of these fights just do not allow you to use all of your resources. I think the only few games where I've actually used a lot of items I've rarely used were the original Zelda game, Link to the Past, and that's it. I didn't use any weapons. I didn't use the ball and chain in Twilight Princess. I didn't use the fishing pole like some people used. I didn't use the bottles when I was fighting Ganon in Ocarina of Time. I didn't use any of the weapons other than the Master Sword when I was fighting him in Twilight Princess. I didn't use any other weapons. There was just no need. Because you just have to use the Master Sword. Give me a fight with Ganon where it's like, holy fuck, like, I need to try and keep him distant. I need to keep distance from him and me until, like, give us a time limit or something. Like, he gets super pissed off, or, like, he uses some kind of magic to just fucking have chunks of, like, I don't know, say it's in the middle of Hyrule Castle, or it's in the throne room. So he's just pulling flagstones and fucking bricks and just all chunks of masonry and columns, and they're all just collecting onto him. So he's making like a makeshift armor or a composite shield. And it's like the sword will not do anything when you strike him. It'll just bounce off because it's like hitting a fucking wall. But if you use your arrows, like your bomb arrows, just keep firing bomb arrows and just blow the chunks of rock and shit that he's collected onto his skin to deflect any blow. Like, use that to your advantage. So now you've used all your bomb arrows, and like, you're gonna have a high capacity fucking quiver for that, because he'll keep doing that like maybe 2-3 times during the fight, or if you're just not fast enough. Have it where it's like, okay, he's done with that. And he just, I don't know, he starts charging at you. And he's like from across the room. Use your hook shot. Just fucking grapple up onto the ceiling and fucking dodge him. Smashes in. You drop down and you can just do a dropping sword attack. I don't know. They sort of did that in the dungeon bosses. The second phase of Ganon, he gets a heated armor, and the only way to get him out of it is to reflect his lasers and shoot back at him. Oh. Hire me, Nintendo. Hire me. During that phase, he's climbing on the wall. Wow. I'm trying to think of another good thing I'd want. Oh, how about this? That whole rock arm bit. Say you run out of bomb arrows. You didn't prepare. We've all been in that situation in the Zelda game. Just pull out the Megaton Hammer. Just swing it at him, and it smashes shit. But there's a risk. You have to go into melee combat with him. Like, you're desperate. You're in a fight for your life. You're in the fight to free the world from Ganon's rule again. You're gonna have to go to desperate times. Call for desperate measures. It would work. It'd be amazing. Give me a second. Another problem. Magic. They've kind of given up on giving Link magic. Zelda 2 is the first to have magic. And then Link to the Past had the 3 medallions, the two rods or canes, the magic cape, the magic powder. I wouldn't even consider a magic item. And I think that's it. The 2 rods and the 2 canes. So you had a fair amount of magical arsenal with you. Then you have 3. You had 3 magic items in fucking Ocarina of Time. Did anybody really use them though? Besides solving the puzzles, because you needed to use Din's fire to light torches. I don't think I ever used Theora's wind, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is just a teleport spell. And Naryu's, I think it's Naryu's shield. Never really used it. Twilight Princess didn't have magic in it that I can remember of. You had the oh god, I forgot the name of the rod. I think it's the domination rod or whatever. Basically, you can just throw a fucking magic orb into a fucking statue and it can move around and follow you the way you move. Wind Waker had some magic, like the magic armor. Magic armor. I forget what else. Besides the Deku leaf, even though that's technically not even really a magical item. Like magical items are just not being really introduced back into Zelda, which kind of sucks. Like, I'd like to see not Zelda. I'd like to see Link using magic. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him fucking using a rod or a cane and being like, oh, fucking fireball, bitch, to the face. Or an ice rod. Bring back the canes. Like, the one that creates a shield. Like, just the ring, and then you can fire off fucking 4 blasts. I think the cane of Bryna. I think that's the one that makes the block. You can just change that. So when he uses the cane, it just a giant fucking wall comes up. Could be a stone wall, could be an energy wall, what have you. And it just follows him from where he casts it. So that means enemies on the left and right and back of him would hit him, but the things in front of him wouldn't. And it only has a certain amount of hits. And you could have like it cracking or something. And like if Link doesn't need it, he can just disenchant it and it just pop, gone. Have it so that he can cast that, and since it's just this giant fucking brick or shield, and be able to push it. Like push it over. So it just falls. That'd be a good puzzle solving thing. Like, oh, I can't jump over this chasm. Or, oh, hey, like, there's just something wrong and I can't see. Like, say there's like this perpetual darkness and you can't see over the chasm. Be able to push the fucking shield down. The shield just falls over and bink. Now you've made your own bridge. He can use a rod in breath. Lightning or fire rods just has limited durability, or you can toss it away. Again, Nintendo, hire me. Hire me. Like, god damn it. I'm thinking of all these good ideas, and you guys seem to already have done them. Let's see. I would like, this may be weird, I would like a more heavy story in a Zelda game. Breath of the Wild, from what I've seen, is very light on its story compared to other games. Skyward Sword, I wouldn't even say is heavy story. It's mostly a rehash. It's mostly a rehash of most of the games. Twilight Princess probably has the most interesting story. Like, in Twilight Princess, like, this is the thing I like. This is the thing I liked about Twilight Princess, and this is the thing that blew my mind, and it's one of the reasons why it's one of the best of the best in my books. Twilight Princess opens up fairly idyllic and fairy tale-esque. You're just a normal farming boy minding your own business in your own little quiet area outside of Hyrule. Like, I think it's Ordon, or I think it's Ordon. Ordo or Ordon is the region you're in. It's technically outside of the borders of Hyrule. And, like, just not normal farmer, just dealing with the daily fucking shit that you have to put up with. And then you're hanging out, minding your own business. You have, like, these interesting fucking character arcs with, like, the swordsman. Like, I believe he's a veteran. And you later find out that he's actually part of a group of warriors that defend Hyrule. He has a pregnant wife. He has children. And he, like, talks to you about, like, mythology, like the myths of Hyrule and the Hylians, and, like, oh, like, about the Twilight and stuff like that. It's very atmospheric beginning. And then, like, oh god, I forget the chick's name. I'll say not Zelda. So like the not Zelda chick, she's like, oh hey Link, come with me to the spring tea. And you go there, and, like, it's all this tender moment, and you totally forget you're playing a Zelda game. You totally forget. You get immersed in this section of the game dealing with, like, the daily monotonous routine of Link. At least that's how I felt when I started playing this. Like, I was actually kind of invested in dealing with all the bullshit of, like, these kids and, like, the farming village, and talking to them and knowing what their story's like. And then, out of fucking nowhere, a giant moblin on a boar blasts, sounds a horn, charges in, immediately nearly kills you, captures the children, captures not Zelda, and the opponent just goes fucking insane and disappears. And it's like, holy shit. Shit just went dark. Like, that escalated quickly. And so your character immediately runs back, grabs a sword, grabs a shield, and it's like, it's on. I have to save these people. And you get turned into a wolf. Then you get caged up in Hyrule Castle. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You, as the player, are in the same position as Link. Why the fuck is he a wolf? You meet Midna. Then you have to sneak out of fucking Hyrule Castle. You're talking to dead souls. And, like, then you see the cutscenes of how Hyrule Castle and Hyrule fell under fucking Zant's tyranny. And he's, like, they dropped the ball on Zant. Because he's like a Sith Lord when he marches in. Like, all his weird fucking Twilight fucking monsters are just killing randomly. Just killing droves of Hyrule Guard. And Zelda abdicates the throne because she doesn't want more bloodshed of her people, and the death of her people are weighing down on her. And she's been trapped in the fucking Twilight Realm. And she doesn't really play a big part in the story. It's mostly just you and Midna. And then, like, as the story goes on, like, there's the 4 light spirits, and you need to collect the Twilight fucking artifacts so Midna can turn into a fucking monster so she can try and break through the shielding. Then you have the whole fucking Twilight mirror. You have the flashbacks to the Tweely trying to steal the golden power, aka the Triforce, from the Golden Realm, and there was a fucking massive war because of it. The execution scene and the explanation as to what happens to Ganon after Ocarina of Time. The story and subplot that doesn't really go anywhere about the fucking dead swordsman. You get to see the Skull Kid, and he's playing music that's reminiscent to fucking Ocarina of Time, and he references things that happened in the past. You go to see Hyrule. No, you don't go to Hyrule Castle. You do, but that wasn't what I was thinking. You go to the Temple of Time, and like the Temple of Time has shifted, but it's supposed to be the actual Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time, but it's way, 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 way far away from where it should be, which means that like over however many decades or centuries, like shit, like just geography's changed. You have the wrestling and like the Goron shit where like the Gorons value strength. And the only way to actually show that is by wrestling and sumo. So you have to try and gain their trust by doing that. The dead Zora's the Zora's dead mother, and how he's a prince, and her spirit's following him, looking over him and guiding him. The whole Kakariko village shit. Like, there's a lot of plot shit that happens in this fucking game. A lot more than than the majority of the games. Like, and it just envelops you in a nice warm blanket, and it's like, it's okay. Just enjoy the ride and the story. Like trying to save the children, and then Midna gets harmed because she fought Zant. And now you have to try and save her from fucking dying. Christ, Ganon's plot and how he gained power in the Twilight Realm is kind of ingenious and really malevolent when you think about it. Like that motherfucker disguised himself as a god to Zant. And he just twisted Zant's mind and poisoned it, and he poisoned a lot of the Twilight, or the Tweely, into believing he was an actual literal god. Triforce doesn't really make an appearance. They don't really talk about the Triforce of courage or wisdom or power, for that matter. The swordsman that teaches the swordsman that was teaching you sword fighting in Ordon Village or whatever, he comes back as a key player, and then you see his ragtag group of badass warriors that have been following him. One of them has a gun. People keep forgetting. Yeah, guns have been introduced into Zelda in this one. He has a cannon on his fucking shoulder. A shoulder-mounted cannon. Like, yeah, cannons were shown in Wind Waker with the whole fucking, that's how you fired your bombs, but it's not really a cannon. Like, it is, but it's not, it does not fire the projectiles the way that, like, a cannon would. It just lobs a bomb, and the bomb, when it hits, will just explode. Like, this is a proverbial fuck off cannon that just fires around and just it doesn't explode. It just rips through the fucking side of a fucking parapet on the Hyrule Castle. Then you have the chick who I believe lived in like the tundra area of Hyrule, and she starts talking about her father or some shit like that. A lot of interesting fucking characters. They need more of that. Like, they need more of, and I hate saying this because it's going to make some people groan. They need more of a Lord of the Rings-esque tone. And I'm not talking like, oh, like Sauron, and no. Give us depth. A lot of depth. Give us a lot of lore. Give us a lot of characters. There's a lot of characters that are fleshed out beyond belief. Like, I just listed them off vaguely. I didn't go into depth for a lot of the characters. I talked about a lot of the shit that I remember from that game because it meant a lot, because there's a lot to that plot. Like, I can barely remember half the shit from fucking Ocarina of Time. Like, I remember fucking I can't even remember the Lon Ranch owners. Can't. I know Marin. I remember her. I forgot the Luigi analog. I forgot his name. But I remember he was abusing Epona, and he was just an asshole. And so you had to race him. Can't remember his fucking name. Inigo. I think that might be his name. I remember the Carpenters. I can't remember what the guy in fucking oh god, I can't remember what the guy at fucking the observatory in Hylia Lake or Lake Hylia. I can't remember what that dude does. I remember the weird dude that will buy post souls off of you in Hyrule Castle in the future when you're adult Link. Princess Rudo wanting to marry you. Saria. Fuck, if half the sages I can't really fucking remember. He was just there studying water depth in the sky. All right. They brought back a Princess of the Zora who has a thing for Link and Breath. Oh boy. I'm sure there's a lot of R34 for that. Like they usually do. But yeah, like oh. Like, I don't know. They need more of that. And from what you're showing and from what you're telling me, like Breath of the Wild is hitting all these marks, but it's like they need to do more. Like, you got Twilight Prince. I'd say Wind Waker. I'll give you Majora's Mask 2. Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild. Those 4 Zelda games are by far the ones with the most fleshed out adult stories. I don't even care if it, like, I shouldn't even say it's an adult story. You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Children should have to deal with adult shit, like adult themes and tones on some level. Like, dealing with, like, I was what? Christ, I can't. I was in 7th grade when when Wind Waker came out. So let's see. I was what? Probably 12, 12 or 13, probably 12 when I played that. I was 11, 10 or 11 when I played Majora's Mask. Like, if you played Ocarina of Time, you realize, yeah, everybody that you knew died in Wind Waker. Fuck, they literally show that Hyrule Castle fell to Ganon, and Ganon was essentially... they even say it in the fucking opening. Ganon won. They had to use the gods to put a stasis on it. The Zora that you played with in fucking Ocarina and Majora, they're dead. They might be the Rudo, they might not be. The Kokiri, they're gone. They've been turned into the Koroks. Hell, 2 of the sages, Earth and Wind, dead. They're literally ghosts. You have to go back and fucking talk to them and be like, oh, hey, I found your replacement. I found your reincarnation. Hell, Ocarina of Time has adult themes with it, where all the sages sacrifice their souls. For the longest time as a kid, I had to explain to my brother when he would, because he'd always tell me, oh, beat Ganon again. Because he liked that big final fight. I don't know why. But he also liked the kind of Return of the Jedi-esque ending, where you see everybody celebrating. And he'd be like, why are all the sages just standing there? I'm like, they're dead. He's like, no, they're not. I'm like, yeah, they're dead. They gave up their life so that they could, you know, help you. It's why they turn into spirits and just flow away in wisps. No, they're not. I was like, then why aren't they there celebrating with the rest of their kin? Why isn't Saria there with the rest of the Kokiri? Why isn't fucking, oh god, I forgot the name of the fucking chieftain of the Gorons, but why isn't he there? Why isn't Rudo with the Zora? Why isn't oh, I forget the name of the fucking the Temple of Time sage. Can't remember him. Like, why isn't he in... Like, why aren't they with their people? Yeah, like Impa. Why isn't Impa, like, celebrating with Zelda and the others? Where are they? They're dead. They are dead. You know what? Actually... Oh no! I was gonna say I have the strategy guide for the GameCube retrospective, but that's up there in the closet. So I was gonna just open that up and be like, "Oh, these are the sages' names." But like, they're dead. People kind of forget that. There's a lot of like the fact that there's a fucking creepy dude just chilling in the fucking Potts room in Hyrule Castle, and he's like, I'll buy souls from you. The fact that Zelda has to sacrifice basically Zelda had to sacrifice your life to deal with everything. It was her fault. And so she sends you back in time so that she can correct that sacrifice, because she feels that she kind of fucked over your life. Which splits the timeline into 2 fucked up timelines. The fact Navi just disappears on you. Let's see. The fact that you're like the Great Deku Tree dies at the very beginning of the game, and tells you, "Hey, you're oh fuck." It's like, "Oh hey, your mother died." Yep. She was badly bleeding to death and whatnot, and she was carrying you in one arm while crawling on her stomach into these woods. She begged me to fucking take you in because she was dying from the war. The Great War. So I took you in. Yep. Your mother and father are dead. Like, wow. So I'm playing an orphan. An orphan / refugee. Like, adult themes. Children are okay with adult themes if they are written and like treated like, you know, responsibly. If you just throw random shit in there just because, you know, hey, it might be adult, let's do that. It's just gonna fall flat on its face. It's gonna fall flat on its face. Like, people really need to get off their fucking high horses and just be like, yeah, I want an adult Legend of Zelda. I want characters that I can be invested in. It makes fucking sense. And from what I keep hearing from everybody, including you, Sten, is Breath of the Wild is all of these things. So I'm going to have to save up to get a Switch so I can play Breath of the Wild. Still kind of miffed at, you know, DLC. I kind of feel like that's dropping the ball on a few things. Yeah, it's on Wii U, but like I'm looking forward to a lot of games that are coming onto the Switch. Mario Odyssey, the Fire Emblem games. I think there's one or two Fire Emblem games coming onto there. There's that Square Enix game, that weird Square Enix RPG game. Oh fuck, what else? There was another RPG game that's coming out on there that I want to play. Plus Metroid Prime 4. I'm gonna have to get it just for that too. But yeah, like there's a lot of games on there that I actually want to play, and it seems like they're coming out pretty fucking quickly. So Mario and Rabbids, like I've had some friends go, "Oh, you should play XCOM," and I'm like, "Yeah." I like me some tactical RPGs, but yeah, I don't know. There's just so far that I'll go into a tactical RPG-esque fighting simulation game thing. Mario and Rabbids, yeah, and plus I never really got into the whole Rabbids craze, so I just kind of shirked that to the side. But yeah. I think I'm just gonna stop rambling now. My throat's getting a little scratchy, so I'm gonna have to grab something else to drink, and I gotta eat. I'm gonna get ready for bed because I got a lot of work in the morning. Yeah. So, thank you guys for coming. Frank, I know you were there. I saw you. Thank you, Sten, for showing. I hope you both have a fantastic night. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to be doing Arc the Lad Part 3. And then Saturday, I don't know what's going to happen Saturday. Got a couple other days. Shit could happen. So it might be a rambling, might be an Arc the Lad. Don't know. So you guys have a nice night.